mean, they usually have a recording anyway, right?
That's what they usually do, yeah.
It's recording.
Looking good.
Oh. See y'all in it? Yeah.
Yep.
Fired up and it's recording.
They've been coming.
Yeah. It's called Mary, so says they're heading down. They're usually down here earlier, so
Ah,
we get to go. Like Brian's already signed in on. Anything else?
Marcus. Thanks for jumping on that.
Yeah. Said there was a lot of steps I didn't need to do.
It's awesome. I feel real good about that.
Yeah.
We rolled it out, because I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's there, let's get it going, you know what I'm saying, I mean, it's like, so,
Yeah, so,
appreciate you.
yeah, so now I gotta do the other buildings and stuff, figure out how they want. For that.
Should be counting.
So, rest of that.
Who does your farming now, Kenny? Chris Key, Mary Key.
Yeah. I guess Brian, you right now.
Yeah, he met next to it. Good. He's, oh, man, he works back.
You did knock me over.
That's my bye. All right,
Looking forward to
I
that
was
conversation.
thinking about a quarter. So
He was on the fire department.
I even,
Yeah.
Give Narcan shots.
He's right on my desktop, on my to-do list, so.
Bartlett,
Sir.
you got any idea what this is?
That's somebody's propaganda. County council stuff, I suppose it's probably Chuck Holdings or maybe Mike Scott stuff.
Chuck Bowling, yeah. How you doing?
Morning, sir.
I'm better over here for you.
We don't have a public hearing today. so-
no,
What a nice thing.
remember this, everybody, Dean is watching down.
Invoke Gene as quick as you can. Try and make this short, fellas. Play these.
Nope.
Sure we go.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Sure enough, did. Sure.
but,
I got Mark Leaming's packet and everything in front of me.
there you go.
Show up.
I was.
Who's able to see research?
Okay.
Let's wait here just a minute. That's,
You'll explain it.
yeah. Turner. They fixed a couple things on that ditch afterwards.
Shooting last night in Marion, and they didn't call me out, so it wasn't fatal. That's good.
Didn't we have two yesterday? There was one that was fatal earlier today, right?
Did you let them in?
They didn't call me, so.
Yeah, there was one earlier today.
This isn't ours. They fell off that.
Oh, I have no idea.
I know I got some hired detectives this morning.
But
You did it, Brenda.
We just need to raise the price of bullets so nobody can afford to shoot anybody else. Federal government is jacking bullets up.
That's fine too.
Yeah, we've got knives, we've got butcher.
Yes, that's right. We got ball bats and.
That one homicide said 3 guys died or 2 guys died. Was with a ninja sword.
yeah,
People will use anything they can.
So did they catch the person
Oh, yeah.
last night?
Oh, I'm not sure about last night.
Where's the sword?
can't block it like that.
First Street.
I've been a while.
It's been a year or two.
Oh, okay.
It's down around first.
One with a sword.
Right across
Right.
from Culligan.
Yeah,
First Street.
My son got in trouble.
Culligan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the patent sword from World War I.
Mhm.
Got that one.
That's a nice fight.
I signed that when he was a lieutenant in World War I.
It probably kills somebody, right?
Yeah, it's a nice sword.
We haven't outlawed rocks yet, and that's what King used.
Yeah,
So-
that's right.
I've also got a rock on a stick, 1812.
Yeah.
It's the pointing, 2 points on, it's not the old axe you think, it's got 2 round, it's round cylinder points.
And heard of it, you get somebody.
I have switched on phone numbers.
Artifacts, I think
Mike,
that's free.
connect, I can access it.
Yeah,
Building.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got one.
Right, back and go.
Yeah,
Them's worth anywhere.
I won't- I can't connect.
$500 a piece.
this gets picked just as often.
Scratch.
First thing is to just shut it down and turn it back on.
Yeah, I've already done that.
Okay.
That's why I'm just now saying something.
I got to Zoom.
I did have his number,
My
but
kids have always said, how do you keep them? I said, what would you do to sell them for? I said, I don't sell it because my house, you know, they don't make any more. You find more. They do make.
Actually, some guys out at 1812 do make
Yeah,
them.
yeah, I know.
But none.
I can.
Better care of myself.
It's funny, we're plowing them because one of them, I was cutting beans.
Yeah.
Looked at the head, a seam head. I think that's a. I got
Okay,
it.
hopefully they'll get down here.
But we can still.
Unbelievable.
It's laying there.
We are recording. Actually, we've been recording 8 minutes. It is 1 minute past the hour. So let's go ahead and we will call the Grant County Drainage Board to order September 27, noting all 5 members present. And Kenny, you got the claims, the minutes down there?
Yeah. I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Tates to.
Second.
Second, Mr. Cox to approve. So any corrections, comments, editorial changes, sly remarks? No sly remarks from Ray. All right, all in favor would say aye. Aye. Aye, it is carried. I think everybody was here last time, right? So we have no abstaining. Jim, if you'll walk us through claims, sir.
Okay. First one, Grant County Treasurer, $2,035.63. This is a loan from the General Drain Improvement Fund to maintenance. And then we have these were both repair jobs on outlets after the Doyle Ferguson got done. MD Seed Research, which is Matt Turner, he's got a business and a federal ID number. And, $195 on Doyle Ferguson, $31,912.08 in the fund. The other one's $490 on the Doyle Ferguson. Again, there's 31,000 in the fund. This was a repair, 20 feet of 8-inch dual wall, 1 hour at $125 an hour. So the Turner's own property out there, they was gonna keep this down. 40 feet of 18-inch dual wall. These are at erosion areas, 2 hours at 100, that was a $490 one. On Turner Farms.
Surface water control.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep them banks from sliding in. John's Repair Service. This is the rest of the work on the Aaron Newby at $4,755. And we're $2,035.63 in the red. We're gonna put it more in the red, but we've had a hearing and we've done agreed to, fix all the outlet on this, and this took care of. Peerless Printing, $102.36 for office supplies, $227 in the fund. And then I went out with, me and Raymond's went out with Cook Excavating quite a while back. And we repaired, Winger ditch is a small tile that, it cannot handle the tile, but we made surface improvements in our drainage easement to get this surface water to the open ditch. It's $2,186 on one bill. It was $23,026 in the fund. And, the first bill was on the Sweet Farm to build the waterway to drain substantial blockage of surface water. Then the other one was on the Kimmerling Farm, which we continued the waterway. These are the two properties where water was backing up, wouldn't let the tile work for everybody else. So by shaping this ground and getting it into the open ditch, the tile's gonna work better for that. And that bill was $2,443. Again, with 23,000 in the fund. That's it for today.
So we'll still have over 18,000. We take both of those bills.
For tile repairs.
Make a motion, we pay the claims as presented.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Goff, second, Mr. Pinkerton. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is unanimous. And one more.
Drury Simmons, $416.50 on Humble Creek. And that was to get us through, to get us to this public hearing that's coming up.
Is he supposed to show at that public hearing?
I don't know.
What was the question?
Is he requested to show?
He's been sent a public hearing notice. So, and it says if you have an objection, we're to receive it 5 days before the hearing.
He was asking about the lawyer. If the lawyer was gonna be there, I think.
Oh, I didn't know if you guys wanted your attorney here or not.
In the public hearing?
Mhm.
That's not on his bill, right? That's to set the rates?
We'll be charged for
To
it.
give him the rate of the problem that we
Oh,
have.
this is the public hearing for that.
Right, only that. The other one's coming up later, the assessment on the whole thing. So I wouldn't think we'd need our attorney there. He may send his attorney there to represent us.
I don't think we need to have him here in case there's any type of a remonstrance or a question. I think we can ask after the fact. We'll hear what he has to say and go from there. I don't think we need our $300 lawyer here for an hour and driving both
And
ways.
the way I understand it, if 20 days after that, if he don't get his written letter of objection, then he waives his right to object later. So after 20 days, we assess it to the auditor.
So what happened, he objects to the thing, then we'll be back to square one.
Again, that's where we would then talked to our attorney. I think because we already have a court order that says it will be paid, once it's done, it's done. Even if there's an objection on the billing, I think we go back and ask the court for an immediate finding and a declaration. We don't play the game anymore.
That'd be great. See it when I believe it.
And I, just for the board's knowledge, I'd heard Miller Surveying had been out there and surveyed a parcel off in this area to make a wildlife preserve or something. They might be thinking that that's tax exempt, but this all happened before that.
It is tax exempt, but I don't think as far as the
Ditch assessment
ditch assessment, it's
is
exempt.
different.
Now, if that gets put on the property taxes, I would think it's still.
For some reason, he just did that, and I haven't seen
Well,
I haven't seen the layout.
I got 18 acres in wildlife habitat, so you pay $5.
And it's a reduced rate.
They can charge you $5, so that's what they do. You know, the taxes on the house go up every
But I
year.
don't think it'll give him out of paying what he owes us right now.
Right. But you do get out of the property tax.
Okay. Well, that.
So
could
he
be
may
the
just
only
be
reason.
doing that to.
Hopefully that's the only reason.
For property tax. But he's got a lot of work getting rid of all the invasive species and it's, sometimes I wonder if it's worth it
Oh, yeah.
personally.
Okay, help me because I didn't write it down. If we added do we have any motion on this right
No,
now?
not yet.
Okay.
I don't make the motion.
Added move to pay.
I'll second.
Gordon has seconded. Technically, now we can discuss.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We didn't even discuss the bill. We discussed everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a problem. Here no more. All those in favor would say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those abstaining? Abstain. Carried 4-1 abstention. And we paid our bills.
We're gonna, if we get that money collected, we're gonna have a big party, right?
Let's see, who can afford to do that? Everybody can bring their own pop and I'll bring the cookies. How's that? All right. Under old business, we have no movement on the resolution for vacation, Little Crane. Humble Creek, we just talked about that, solar ordinance. We are waiting right now to see what's happening. I understand there's some rumblings with APC, so we'll see what that pans out to be. New business. And, or other business.
Did you read that thing that, Bob sent, that 257 pages?
Yeah. I looked at it.
I've got it in my car and I take a peek at it every once in a while. I've not digested it all yet, but that is a drainage plan.
Yeah.
It's
You look at it, right?
complicated.
Go ahead,
Not every page.
But I would say it's quite thorough.
Yeah.
But that, went through quite a bit of it.
If you get to digest that before our next meeting, what we do need to do is, the things that we've talked about. We talked about the idea of having a public hearing on any type of solar situation. Those things that we kind of added in, we probably need to vote on that next time to say, yes, we're adopting that as our full set of requirements. And if we see something in this that they've done in Posey County, then we probably need to add that as well.
Well, they got 75 foot and I'm not sure that we can do it in 75 foot. Good, especially on this Lumbo and so forth.
I think we do the 75, but then again, in the economic development agreement that comes after the fact, we can add 25 feet. We can add some more footage as a part of that economic growth requirement.
The code says that's 75 foot from center of tile each direction, so that's 150 foot strip.
Yeah, that's a big strip, but if we think we need 25 more on each side, we can do that in an additional agreement.
Would that come in the form of a setback, or would that be increasing the drainage easement? Because if we go putting more restrictions on properties like that,
It's a drainage easement. The whole thing, I say,
yeah, I know, but are they entitled to some compensation for suddenly losing an extra 25 feet of their ground?
Yeah, we wouldn't make that a part of an easement. I don't think we can change state law because that's state law. But
So is
an
that a
agreement,
setback thing?
it's an agreement, a contractual agreement in the economic development agreement that says we will honor another 25 feet on each side. And again, that may hurt the landowner a little bit with regard to losing 25 feet, but again, for the purpose of making sure we can do the work, it can be added as a contractual
The
agreement.
problem we've got with this, and it's up there on that, Lumbo tile, is one. And the circle tile is another. I know that people signed up on that over those two tiles, okay? And what the problem is they're up closer to the open ditch. So the people downstream, down tile, if we don't straighten this thing out, and our problem is the Lumbo's got $1 assessment on it, okay? It might have 30,000 in the fund at the most. But it's gonna take at least 700,000 plus to replace.
Well, it's not the landowner that has to worry about it. It's the guys that getting the permit to do the building. That are gonna be restricted by the 75 feet or the 150 foot.
Yeah.
Not the landowner.
Right.
So,
there's a lot of, the county tile goes quite a distance from the solar panels where they'll go in, and a lot of private tiles. So everybody that's on the back side of this worried about the water getting through. That's the problem that they have right now. And they'll have to be reassured that the board's gonna be looking out for their benefit.
Yeah, and that's where the mutual green clause that we put in there, we have to determine where it is. They can't start building until it's been found, and make sure that it's clean. We put all those restrictions. Again, they don't get past us. They don't get on to building until they.
Well, we're gonna have to stick to our guns,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I talked to this Dalton Carr with Apex, okay? At that meeting you had. And my understanding that if I went to Steve, I'm Apex and I go to Steve. And first thing Steve wants to do, he wants to sign where the $1,000 an acre is, okay? But if he says, Steve says, there's a ditch through here and some other stuff that we need to put some exceptions on before he signs, they'll go along with it. Once he signs, then it's up to us,
It's up to us. That's right. You're absolutely right, Kenny.
okay?
Yep.
And these people signing,
They're seeing the dollar signs. That's
we're
what they're
saying the
thinking.
dollar signs.
Yeah, but we've got to take care of everybody.
And, there's 4 or 5 other farmers. One of them, there's probably 700 plus acres that's got to go through that
Yep.
farm, okay?
Yep.
Those are the people we gotta protect.
Right.
And, it's, somebody's gonna have to be watching what the solar unit's doing. Because they can say anything and do anything, but make sure they follow the law of the land, you know?
Okay, and if they build, they get a permit and build, is there a final inspection before they get their operational permit?
I would say yes, but can you answer that, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, as they come in, depending on, size and the development, we know Indiana Wesleyan coming in, we figure we're gonna be out there every day, every other day. Something that we're gonna have to discuss with the larger farms, if we have a farm come in that is on 23 tracts of land, that we may be getting into something that's a lot larger than one building inspector and a director can handle. So we may look at hiring out, as far as having someone come in and do inspections, for us, some engineering and stuff like that, but that is part of what those application fees are for.
Yeah.
Some of these larger farms are gonna come in and they're gonna give us $10,000 in an application fee. They're gonna give us $125,000 in a permitting fee. And that money would go towards, something that's larger than this office can handle, having a professional company out there, actually doing the inspections and reporting back to us or to you.
But is there a final inspection before operation begins?
Yeah, I plan on being out there constantly with these. Right, as much as I can be out there and depending on, again, if we have another company out there, and you guys too, same thing. If we want to get out there and see something, setting something out and going out and walking it.
You and our folks here on the drainage board both have checklists, right?
Right,
You will be making sure that they live up to everything on your checklist as well as we making sure they live up to ours. Is that correct?
right. And when we have a technical review committee, we'll actually come together and everyone who's got a part of this and an approval in this before it moves forward, will all come together. And until drainage board says, yep, we're good, and EMA says, yep, we're good, and erosion control says, yep, we're good, it does not move up to the APC until we get okays from everyone. So, I mean, it is going to be a heck of a process.
And, I figure they'll,
That, down there in Posey County that you sent me, that's right on the Ohio River. Uh-huh. Makes a difference, okay? And if you go back to Appendix A, I think it is, it shows little squares at different places. I mean, it's not like they're taking a whole field. I mean, how would you farm around that? Did you know? Yeah, I mean, even if you went down to River Start and looked at that, I mean, a lot of areas down there, they've got fields down there that 1/3 solar and 2/3 is still farmland. I mean, there's inside of the boundaries are going to be still quite a bit of ag land. And I wanted to send you guys that drainage report. You guys were talking in the last meeting about checklist and stuff like that, and I thought, well, you guys still haven't seen an actual drainage plan yet, so I wanted to get something in front of you so you kind of had an idea of what the solar company is going to hand us when they come in.
yeah, I just wanted to say, I figure they'll come up with a plan, present it to the drainage board, we'll have questions. And then I would like to go out, depending on the county tile that's involved, I would like to go out on the site with the representative. We talk about, it, look at it, we'll postpone, we won't make no decision at that first meeting. It'll just be their proposal. Then we go out, drainage board members could be invited along. And on site, they can reassure us of what's being done and we'll look at the paperwork before that on-site meeting. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of digesting what's going on.
And if you read what I sent you, they actually spent 2 years putting that together before they turned it in.
So it's not like they're out there for a week or two and then bring you something. They actually did a ton of studies over 2 years to come up with that plan.
I'll be honest, there's stuff in there I didn't understand. Okay.
Well, you do know, water flows downhill. That's all you need to know.
Not a real estate highway.
We may have to have, I don't know if it's over Brad Rail or who, but we may have to have somebody
And long
help
there's,
us on it.
you know, we got the general drain fund that we could cost share a little bit of that. They might agree to pay a little bit of that for, you know, to get them through the loops or a lot of our assessments have money in it where we could hire a little bit of consulting out of that. That's okay with the Indiana code, to hire a little bit of consulting
How
out.
could we get some of the fee money?
I'm thinking the fee money would help us determine whether engineering is proper or not.
Have an engineer review their
Is
plans.
that fair, to ask Ryan?
Yeah, I've talked to Jim and Angie as far as the money and stuff, and basically we will put it in. I'll go back, reappropriate it. And then all billing will kind of come through area plan to come out of that fund through application and permitting fees. And the other thing to remember, they're not going to walk in and just hand you 257 pages and say, here you go, what do you think? I would imagine they're going to actually come in and do a presentation for you guys. They're gonna walk you guys through that plan. So it's not like they're just gonna hand it off and say, yeah, tell us what you think.
A lot of the drainage areas I'm real familiar with. It's not like I started tomorrow, so I know the land out there. So I'm one step ahead on that.
Now, we don't want to get caught up in a deal like the windmills at Elwood. That the government was given a bunch of money and they had to have them up and running by the first of the year. They ended up getting a bunch of Chinese or something, wind blades or whatever, and they've shut a bunch of those blades down. You know, and this is a game, it's government money.
It is, and that's why ultimately the wind turbines didn't come in, is because they wanted us to keep extending their time allotment to get things going with the anticipation they were gonna get more federal funds, and we finally said no.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather have the windmills than do
Yeah,
these here, because I tell you,
It
you
really
can
is
farm
fun.
around them and so on and so forth.
That has a smaller footprint, and at the same time, when we were fussing, just like we fussed over solar, when we were fussing about wind turbine,
Well-
they were saying, we don't care if we bring in solar. And some of the same folks that were fussing on the wind turbines, that were now fussing, saying, well, we don't want this, even when they said, we'd rather have solar.
Your efficiency was better,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you got 26, 25, 26, 27% efficiency on these things. You know, they don't work of a night. You know, if you got wind of a night, a windmill will
Still
work,
rolling.
you know? If it's cloudy and so forth, they don't work.
One thing I didn't like about the windmills is I didn't want them close to my property because I wanted all those red lights come on at night.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're perfect.
I don't mind.
Well, the problem is-
You get used to them.
Yeah, you
You
can-
get, have you gotten used to them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's,
Don't let Mr. Wright hear that right now.
the lights don't bother you,
You say the blades were
the
made in
ditch.
China?
Here's the problem with the windmills. You got underground cables going 2 or 3 blocks back in the field,
Mhm.
okay? You gotta have a guy from the windmill farm come over there and just use Scott Rogers, for example. Here's the ditch. You can get up so close, the guy will sit in his pickup and watch you dig under their cable.
Yeah.
They ought to have somebody that digs under that cable. They ought to have a team that digs under that cable for you. They, you know,
Exactly right. I know how landlords that don't even use the cable, but he was Dwight Dyson in probably the early 40s. He was on a telephone cable east of 9. And he had in the contract, they were responsible for a rod of tile under that cable. The guy said, well, I've never seen that, so we had to get that higher ups. And they got in and dug them under they were responsible. If they did it, into the bottom. We need to try to get that.
Part of
They're
our,
responsible.
part of
Well-
our regulation is we do not want another Oak Hill situation.
No, I
Ever
understand
happen
that.
again.
But evidently somebody sold those to Oak Hill. You know,
Yep.
I mean, Oak Hill owns that.
Mhm. But again, they went through the ditch, they tore up our ditch, they messed things up, they weren't regulated, they totally did not seek direction. And
No, I'll vote for that,
Yeah.
okay? But I'm just saying that this outfit, one of these outfits, Apex is out of South Carolina, North Carolina, someplace down in there. They'll have somebody in Chicago in an office up there on a computer. And if something some of the panels is not up to top efficiency, they might send somebody down and look at it. But if Gordon wants to got one on his farm and there's a cable coming across him, it won't do him any good. They'll send a guy down in a pickup and he'll sit there in cold weather or whatever and watch Gordon dig underneath him.
Just by, like, locate service,
Yeah.
they'll come out and locate it.
Yep.
We have the Buckeye Pipeline run through us, and they're that way.
Mhm.
You get within 50 feet of that, and they show up.
They don't do.
We want to know how they show up, but they show up.
They need to do the digging,
Mhm.
not the farm will be.
A lot of times they're on pipeline, they will.
Well,
They often do that at Fowlerton. It has so much fall and it's shallow, we're just gonna dig up to the easement and then start on the other end and we won't take no dirt off of it.
Have a comment from,
I know I'm not on the drainage board, but I just got just a real quick comment. I did meet with one of the engineers. And honestly, they do not want to get into our stuff. It's more hassle for them
Yeah.
when they get into it than it is if they know where things are. So my understanding from that engineer, they're gonna be coming down here at this site and looking and talking to farmers about their particular fields, you know, and all the different things. And I think they would welcome any input that they could get, because again, they don't wanna do that. It's more hassle for them. They gotta repair it, right? That's in the ordinance. They gotta repair it. Anything that they break, they gotta repair it. And they don't want something 2 or 3 years down the pike to all of a sudden show up where the water's washed through and all of a sudden now they got panels doing this because they hit something and they didn't know they hit it. So they're gonna try everything that they possibly can to make sure that they're doing. And I'm with Ryan, the comprehensive plan that they'll give you on drainage, I think it's gonna blow you guys away.
Yeah.
I really do, just like the one he shared with you, I think. And the fact that, and I agree with Ryan, the upfront costs that we're gonna gather from these companies will pay for those extra expenses. And you talk about needing a surveyor or something like that, those funds can pay for that. We don't have to take money out of our accounts.
shouldn't have to.
We should not.
You see what I'm saying? No. And so those are the things that I guess I see as a positive that I think we build into the ordinance that's gonna protect. And honestly, I'm with Ryan. I wanna be out there on these things. I don't know if I'll see that or not in my timeframe, but I would like to see, you know, and follow these things, because I really do think it's gonna be great for our community.
And hopefully reputable companies, they're in the business to do this, so they don't want to tarnish their name
They don't.
by doing something
They
bad.
really don't, because this, you know, if they do a bad job here, guess what?
Gets out real fast.
It gets around,
well,
right?
here, the problem is that the notification to the landowner. Okay, I'm in Florida. I get a letter from, well, they come in here to the recorder's office or treasurer's office, and they get my address in Florida. They send me a thing, and they want to pay me $1,000, okay? It don't get back to Raymond that's farming the farm. I don't call him and tell him, say, hey, you know, we're gonna go over there to the farm and mark the ditches, you know, okay? half of them don't get back that way, especially if you got older women or whatever. That's inherent. And then 95, well, I'll take it back. 70% these has inherited this ground,
Yes.
and some of them don't even know where it's at. Oh, they
And-
know,
and
they may
again, I
know the
think-
landowner or the farmer, the tenant.
That's the beauty of us that talking last time around, that we have a public hearing so that all the landowners around that can come in and say, we do have a mutual drain that goes through there. That helps us help them and less screw ups.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest problem with
The
this.
biggest problem I see with those solar units, if my drainage goes through, I'm not gonna be able to keep track if there is a problem.
Right.
There's something, there's a
Because
lot
when we
of
can't
gates.
see, you can't get in
They
there.
can't get in.
Well,
They'll have a suck hole, or they'll have a blood spout that's,
Yeah, but
well, here's the thing.
I keep track of mine, I drive all of them, but you can't drive through them.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But if you're the owner and you notify the guy that's farming, that chances are if I'm farming next to you, he's gonna let me know or whatever. But if you don't let somebody up here know what's going on, we gotta find this tile that services,
mhm.
and
There'll be wet spots, and that's how you'll notice something's wrong in the solar panel.
And is that kind of what you guys look for today? You look for spots like that out in the field?
I drive mine every spring,
Okay,
where I know tile's breaking down and see if there's a problem. And I'm not gonna be able to drive if the solar unit's between me and my outlet.
If you suspect it, we're going to need to notify them, they're going to need to let us in. We'll have to look on that property where we think the tile, and we'll find the breaks if they're not looking for them.
and I
I
say,
see a nightmare.
I say, let's put that in our,
Economic development agreement.
absolutely.
Steve,
I mean, if you wanna walk,
Partnership
if you
with
wanna
the fence
walk that
cutters.
land or whatever, if you feel like you got an issue, we need to have that right to go in there and see if they've nicked one of our drains,
Yeah.
right? And
there
I
won't
have
be
no problem
anybody,
with that.
there won't be anybody down here that has a key other than your emergency, your fire department and emergency people.
Surely representatives show up.
They'll have maintenance individuals that are here.
Oh,
And we do have in our ordinance, the right of entry for inspection. That goes along with their maintenance plan. So, APC or their agents shall have the right at any reasonable time and with sufficient prior notice to accompany the owner and or operator and or his agent on the premises where the solar farm system has been constructed to inspect all parts of the solar farm and installation and to require that repairs or alterations be made. So that is in our ordinance. With notice, we can go anytime.
They'll make the repairs.
They make repairs.
Right.
We oversee it because it's our.
That's correct.
Makes me feel a little better, but I still don't want anything to do with them.
And hopefully as they're mowing, they'll see a sinkhole or collapse.
They ain't gonna mow.
And mow around it or let us know.
Yeah, the sheep won't let us know either.
There's
If we could get in with proper notice and then find the breaks, because you're just gonna get a wet spot all of a sudden developed
Yeah.
that used to drain, and that's how you're gonna know the tiles downstream is broke.
Yeah.
So do you look at that in the spring? Is that when you kind of size things up? Because that's typically. when
Spring,
you're-
fall, whenever we're in the field,
every spring,
or fall.
after some pretty good
Fall,
rain,
fall, in the fall.
there'll be an afternoon that you could go out there and you can tell where the tile are, okay?
Gotcha.
They'll just be in the afternoon.
Raymond wants to say something, and then Johnson's in
It,
play.
if the solar,
Didn't we, Mark?
if you have a solar field and you have a regulated drain going through it, why not totally separate it from the solar field?
Yeah.
Just put another fence parallel and leave it open for access.
Well, that's an idea.
I think that's a good idea,
That way we can get in there and then they won't be.
because it's,
I'd say if there's a 70 or 150 foot legal drain going through there, They aren't gonna build on both sides of it. If they are, they're gonna fence it up anyhow.
Right.
To be able to inspect or get to.
They can still run their cables across it.
And again, we can throw that into the agreement because it's not in the ordinance that we have.
We don't want them to be, we don't want them to be in that right of way. They need to figure out how to get all over there. So we
I
can,
think they would be okay with that. They can't utilize that property anyway. Why not put the fence right there and relieves them the responsibility?
Mhm. Yeah.
We can get a contractor in there anytime, fix it with the maintenance fund.
no.
They're-
They're not gonna fix it.
That's right.
Well, what
They
if
are-
it's just a natural break and nothing they done?
This doesn't make a difference. We still have.
Because they're gonna still be
They're
paying
gonna
ditch tax.
have-
Okay, yeah.
I've dealt with the phone companies that.
If you fence it off and leave it open, that's gonna be their scapegoat. Well, we didn't go in there, we didn't do anything.
Right.
We aren't gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
Because it's fenced off, they didn't go in there.
On a
They're
regulated.
probably have to run cables across it, I'm saying, to get to the other field.
Well, but they're talking, not even let them put
We talked
our
about,
lines over it.
yeah, we
You
talked
can't
about.
go in our easement, period.
Hmm.
They're gonna have to.
Well, then they're gonna fight and say, hey, we aren't responsible. for
Overhead,
that.
there's overhead, maybe right there or something.
I know, I get a phone cable. And they marked it. But it's, can be a foot on either side.
Either side.
You gotta hand dig it.
And you hit the phone cable, what Mark Ray said.
Well, I actually lucked out because it was abandoned phone cable, but I didn't know it when I hit it. They
From
come
now
out.
on, we're gonna instruct Mary never to invoke Gene Johnson in an email.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, we're all on the same page. We've got to protect.
That's right.
it was a change, like you said.
And I'm
they're
there.
out to fix it.
And that's, and let me tell you, this was great conversation today. It is exactly what we're wanting to do. We are wanting to protect Peace Drains. I mean, I really want to be on the shadow of a doubt. And like I say, hopefully I'm around and I can get around to these, because again, these things are 2, 3, 4 years away.
10 years away.
Yeah, I mean, we just know it's gonna be a long time, but what we've done is set it up
Made it right.
where we can go ahead and do the right things and stuff, and I'm with Mark on all those things as far as putting it in the economic. And again, you guys have played a key role in this whole thing to make sure we're protecting people's drainage. So, thank you for what you do. Okay, see y'all later. I gotta
We
get-
don't want it. We don't want the farmers to have to pay
That's
for
right.
their protection.
That's right.
Pay enough is the way it is. We don't want to.
You lived at Sam's one time.
Mhm. Yep.
The church in the south end, there's a drain behind that church that goes south to the creek.
On the south side, that was the old Methodist church, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, the west ones are still in there, but.
I don't know if it's abandoned now. but
Yeah. Old West,
Right
old
behind
Methodist
there,
church, yeah,
there's a drain that goes south,
yeah.
goes through that field. And there's another,
Is that the Haynes tile?
yeah. Yeah, but that goes down there to Half Mile Road and hooks in down there at, Martin's. Joe Martin's.
That's where they had it.
And there's another on back. And
Somebody's.
they
behind up there.
patterned a bunch of tile on that back one, okay? And then when you get behind that, that goes into Howard County.
I think we were in the process of, didn't we raise that
Yeah, we
assessment
raised it,
to
yeah.
start working on that?
Uh-huh. We fixed some problems out there and it's working right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, that farm signed up for solar,
Did that used to be Joe Powell's place?
change.
Okay.
Joe Powell never had that.
I knew
Joe
he kept
Powell
that
had
tile
one.
working. He
Joe
done a lot of
Powell
work.
had one on across the road.
Uh-huh.
You know how much acreage they got?
He always worked on it back in the day, a long time ago.
I can't tell you, okay.
So he had some.
But there's 2 tile in there, and if you keep these people off, well, gonna about have to stay off the tile, okay?
Right.
Yeah, they have to.
Because that drains the town.
But see, when the people signed up, they don't know about this. Solar, they haven't told the solar people that there's tiles there.
Yeah.
No,
Nobody's interested in
Yeah,
that
and
property.
that's our
right,
job.
gang?
We have to tell them where it is.
Yeah.
Or on mutuals, they're gonna find it.
Yeah, make them dig and around these and see where they're at.
Yep.
And mark
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Motion, Mr. Cox, second, Mr. Pinkerton. All in favor, say aye.
They
Aye.
still,
That's fine.
still have good conversation. I
We
think
did,
We're
yeah.
all on the same
That's
page.
right. We are.
We can't let them just go willy-nilly out there.
And not thirty.
I drive by, fall and spring, I see a problem, I get